Hey everybody, it's Eric from Sensory Dad, and just an update. We're 19 days in to our Colorado counseling with the Star Institute for Leo for a sensory processing disorder. Um, the longer we're out here, obviously, the more difficult it becomes for him, for the simple fact that we're now hitting the point of a little homesickness. Um, it's been increasing, whenever we're in between activities. I'll hear things like, "Oh, I just want to go home. I just want to see, Calliope and Luke, and I want to see mommy," and stuff like that. So my emphasis has been to try to, do as many adventures or as many activities as possible, basically for distraction. I mean, obviously we're having fun, but it's about work. So, we finished week 2, which was a shortened week because of scheduling and everything like that. In week 2, obviously they start to challenge him a little bit more. So there were a couple points where he was, near a meltdown, wanting to quit the game or whatever we were doing, and frustration levels are starting to rise. It's also, we're still doing daily workouts. We're still going to the park every day, or doing some physical activity. So he's getting 2 hours a day, if not closer to 3 to 4 hours of physical activity every day. Can't really get into a gym out here yet. So, we've been doing a lot of, the typical workouts we used to post on Sensory Dad. We still do those. So here's where we're at. We just started. This is week 3, and Jen and I have a meeting today with their psychological lady, the psychologist that works in conjunction with them. So she went over last week with us for a quick meeting on basically what our goals were, what the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities are for Leo. We broke that down for her, and we gave some examples and everything like that. So this is we have a follow-up today at 3 o'clock. So that's going to be interesting to see what she's formulated for us to work on as parents. One of the things we're doing, to combat the homesickness is letting him get some decent FaceTime with his siblings and with mom at night, trying to get him, to see people, and also his grandparents on both sides, to try to talk to them and just, get a little bit of home mixed in. But last night, like, we went to a local park that we've been going to. If you followed anything on Facebook or anything, Leo's catching grasshoppers at the one park, and he's having a really good time. Last night we took a soccer ball, and we needed this night. We really needed, because you can't really make friends out here. It's, COVID, not so much, but it's just, where do you regularly see people? You don't really have contacts in it. So we were fortunate last night. He and I took the soccer ball, and we were kicking the ball back and forth, and a couple kids came up and said, "Hey, do you mind if we play?" And it was really nice, and 2 kids joined in, brother and sister, and then next thing you know, 2 more kids showed up and said, "Hey, do you mind if we play?" And sooner or later, we had like 12 people playing soccer in this little field, and Leo and this older kid were the 2 best players there, and they started, dominating the little kids, and I was kind of playing full-time goalie. So one of the parents of the kids playing, big tall guy, really amazing at soccer. I'm not sure where he's from. He had a little accent, but he was beast. I mean, he was really good. So he and I together teamed up with some of the little kids, and it became a competition. And the kids had a great time. We had, I'm going to say, probably 6, maybe 10 parents sitting around watching the game, and till the streetlights came on. I mean, we were out, for a good amount of time, and it was a blast. I mean, I was whooped, and so was the other dad. I mean, we were soaking wet in sweat, and the kids were having a great time, and he needed that kind of fun. It's not all the time that you see the real smile come out. Like, you might see a chuckle, you might see a laugh or stuff. One of the challenges with Leo is a lot of the times when you see emotions, you might only see the spectrum of the high end or the low end. You don't see that ability to get just like a joy, out of an activity, even when he's playing. I mean, it's difficult. He doesn't show that emotion of happiness a lot, and that's one of the things we really want to focus on out here. So I got this chart, and I'll just tell you a little bit about it. So the philosophy of the school is to work on him as a whole person, to fit into society, to fit into classrooms, to fit into playtime. So stage one is self-regulation and interest in the world. So what it breaks down is that you can control emotions. You can stay calm. You can know all about the world and the way that you move and you taste things and you touch things and you explore is a nice thing that stage one incorporates. Stage two is like a shared engagement. Basically, this is what we were talking about at the park, to where it's rare that you see this, but sharing smiles and joyful moments, and he's developing relationships, and how they work together as a team last night, and it was just kind of great to see total strangers, and there's, like I said, 12 kids and two dads, and we just out of nowhere, just a grassy field, and we used 2 old trees as a goal. And I wish I could have videotaped it, but obviously I was getting my butt kicked by little kids playing soccer because I'm old. But yeah, it was really cool to see that happen. So the shared engagement kind of came out, and it's nice to see that kind of progress. Stage 3, they talk about two-way communication, to where you actually share your thoughts and your feelings and express emotions, and not just so much verbally, but with facial, and gestures, and your thoughts and ideas and what you feel excited about, and you can actually feel comfortable enough with somebody that you can allow that out. Now, obviously, with mom and dad and siblings, he can do that, but he's starting to do that with Kayla, the one therapist, and Virginia, the director of the Institute, and it's nice to see that. But he's also showing the negative, the frustrations and the anger and stuff like that with them. But the director, Virginia, told me, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. We're gonna break him down to realize, that it's okay to show these emotions, and we need him to get the frustration out and realize that we got to get coping strategies put together to rebuild that, and that it's okay to get mad. It's just not okay to explode. Stage 4, and I don't know the timeline on these stages. I'm sure it's different for every child and every patient, or whatever you want to call them, is social problem solving. So basically, they have here that use creativity and share my ideas so that we can solve problems together. So this is one thing that I have seen them do on a small scale just today. So we made slime in our morning session, and while we were making the slime and everything like that, and we were going to put it in a bag, and then we were going to go play in the gym. So as we were doing that, we couldn't find a Sharpie. And I don't know if this was designed or not, but it was kind of genius. So Leo, was trying to figure out, Kayla said, well, let's put a label on that and put it away so that we can go play in the gym and get some, physical activity. And Leo knew that the dry erase markers wouldn't work for that. He realized that on his own, and he looked through a drawer and he found a roll of tape, the yellow, like packing tape kind of stuff. And he said, here, and he put that down there, and he was going to name his little creation Blob, so he wanted to write the name on it and write his name on there, and he couldn't spell blob. So he had a difficult time with it and started to have a meltdown, and he spelled it right. He just wasn't sure if it was right because we didn't give him that affirmation that, B-L-O-B is how you spell it. He said it, he knew, he kind of sounded it out, but he wasn't sure. So he was halfway into writing it, and he just melted down. And Kayla said, hey, why don't we write it on it? We have a lot of tape, so let's just put another piece of tape down and practice on that, and then we can write it on our real tape. Because Leo realized that you couldn't pull the tape off of the little Ziploc bag without damaging it. So we worked through that, and we shared ideas, and we got to, what would work for that, and it was great. So you know, that was just a little step that was probably designed by them. I mean, they seem to be 5 steps ahead of everything that we're doing. It's almost like they, you know, have this plan in place that is achieving all these steps, but it's baby steps to do it, and sometimes it's leaps, and they really are exceptional at reading his emotional and mental states, and just where to push, where to draw back, and um, they are as good as we are as parents that have lived this day in and day out for almost 4 years now. And to see that intellect, to see that ability after a couple weeks, you know, to realize where this kid is, and how we can help him, was exceptional. It was really nice to see that. Stage 5 is creative thinking, through play and experiment, growing intentions, wishes, exploring feelings, making connections with the inner and outer worlds. Um, there's all kind of different things that we're doing. So like today was making slime, and we did some. Well, okay, I didn't. I was just standing there. But Kayla did some reflective stuff, and I think that's like interoception, and seeing where his body is in relation to everything like that. So maybe she would, like, you know, touch her nose, and touch this or touch that, and say, okay, now mimic the behavior, and then she would do the finger tricks, and have him emulate what she was doing there, and see how accurately he could do with that, and he did really well with that. We also did to where he was kind of blindfolded, and he had to reach into a bowl of different materials, rice and beans and stuff like that, and they were like hidden plastic bugs, and he had to see that awareness, you know, that sense of this is different than that, and the touch, and the tactile kind of you know, abilities that he had, and he was able to pick out all the bugs and everything like that, and he did really well with that. So all the little itty bitty tests like that have been pretty good. So the last step, what was I going to say? The building bridges. Leo, please close the door. So building bridges, how my ideas develop through play and connecting together, and making a stronger sense of emotional functionality and symbolically as a result of the world. It's easier to understand and explain. So it's just basically him seeing into situations, and realizing where things need to be, how things need to be achieved, and what's going on around him. And I would assume that this is kind of what Jen and I have been doing, to where you really work on anticipatory abilities to see when a problem's about to come, and how we can solve that problem, how we can work on that and get a resolution that doesn't involve screaming and a mental breakdown, an emotional breakdown. So that started to go really well. I don't think we're there yet, but I think that it's baby steps. We're doing better with that. We're able to walk away, you know, in some situations prior to, you know, conflict. Actually, so you said the iPad. Leo Benjamin. So that's what we're working on. Just wanted to touch base with you guys. Obviously, I can't, you know, really focus now because he's on a FaceTime call and running around the house. So just wanted to check in with you guys, and stay tuned. Thanks.